If you lost weight and gained it back within months, especially the same 10 to 20 pounds, it probably wasn't discipline. It was design because most weight regain after dieting doesn't happen because people fall off the wagon. It happens because the plan was built for fat loss, not for maintenance. And almost no one prepares for that transition. In this video, I'm going to show you a couple things. One, why weight regain after weight loss is biologically predictable, how the structural mistake most diets create, and the three-step maintenance phase that prevents rebound. Because regain isn't random, it follows a pattern, and I call it the transition gap. So let's talk about that transition gap. Most diets follow this sort of pattern. You start, you restrict, you push harder and harder, and then you finally finish. But weight loss is not a project. It's a transition. Projects end, but transitions stabilize. So when you stop structure abruptly, calories increase, tracking stops, intensity drops. Your physiology doesn't instantly normalize. And after dieting, several things happen. Your hunger hormones like ghrelin begin to rise. Your satiety hormones like leptin begin to drop. Energy expenditure decreases slightly, which is otherwise known as metabolic adaptation. So appetite increases while your calorie burn is temporarily lower. No wonder you start to regain weight. And if structure disappears at that exact moment, weight regain begins. And it's not in one dramatic weekend, but in a slow, quiet drift. And if you regained weight after dieting, this is often where it started. So here's the second issue. You lost weight inside a temporary system, but you regained it inside your permanent environment. So in your house, you have the same pantry, you have the same stress patterns in your life, you have the same late night cues, and motivation fights hard. But unfortunately, the environment usually wins quietly, and weight regain rarely looks chaotic. It looks something like this: slightly larger portion sizes, fewer steps, more convenient meals, less structure around sleep. And these are what I call drift factors. And because regain is slow at first, you don't react until they're visible. And most people think they lack discipline, but in reality, the environment was never redesigned for maintenance. So here's the trap that keep most people repeating this cycle for years and years and years on end. They use extreme methods to lose weight, and then they try to maintain with a normal routine. And you build the initial result with intensity and restriction, and then you try to protect it with moderation. And that gap is far too wide. It's not going to work. And you can't maintain an extreme result with a poor maintenance structure. And when the intensity drops, the biologic rebound begins to accelerate. And it's not because you're weak, but because the system was temporary. So you lose, you regain, and repeat. And this is all unless you close that transition gap. So let's talk about that gap, and let's talk about how to transition. We need to talk about the psychological and the biologic rebound. So after prolonged dieting, something subtle begins to happen. Restriction increases your reward sensitivity, and food becomes, unfortunately, much more stimulating. And at the same time, metabolic adaptation lowers the energy expenditure slightly. Not greatly, but just ever so gently. So now your hunger is higher, your calorie burn is slower, and the structure starts to fail. And that combination makes weight regain after dieting extremely common. And this is why most people regain weight within the first year. And it's not because they failed, because no one taught them about the maintenance phase. And that's really what's critical. So I want to talk to you about the three-step maintenance protocol. So if you want fat loss that holds, you need to build in a maintenance phase, not a diet exit. right? So your diet just doesn't stop and then you go back to normal. You have to build out a maintenance protocol. And here's how you do that. Here's the 3-step maintenance protocol. So step 1, you want to increase your calories in a controlled manner over the course of about 4 to 6 weeks. So you want to increase those calories gradually, about 100 to 150 calories per week. You want to keep your protein very stable. You really want to prioritize that protein. You want to then maintain your step count. Keep your activity level pretty constant. And do not remove any training that you're doing. So if you were doing training during dieting, maintain that training during the maintenance phase. This allows your hormones and your energy expenditure to stabilize without rapid fat regain. So step 2, you want to maintain structure while reducing that intensity. So you're reducing the deficit, not your habits. So you want to keep meal timing consistent. You want to eat at the same times every day. You want to keep sleep consistent, and you want to have at least a minimum of 7 hours. If you hope to lose fat and you hope to lose weight, the most important thing is sleep, along with many of these other things we're talking about, but sleep is critical. Keep your training frequency the same. You don't want to then drop your training frequency from when you were dieting and now you're going to, of course, burn less calories, you're going to regain that weight. So here's the bottom line on all of this. What changes is the intensity, not the structure. And then step 3, you want to install guardrails. So rules collapse under stress, and those guardrails, they guide you under that stress. So here's several examples that I can give you for doing this. Protein anchor at most meals. You want to have your main focus on your plate be that protein, whether that's animal protein, vegetable, plant protein. You want the anchor thing on your plate to be primarily protein. You want to minimize, or you want to have minimum daily movement targets. So you want to count your steps or make sure that your activity level doesn't fall off. You want to have consistent grocery systems. So make sure you're buying the same types of foods that you were doing when you were dieting, and not, throwing in high calorie items. You want to also have repeatable meal templates. Have some things go-to things that you can fall back on that you'll routinely eat, and not increasing those calories by a great amount. So maintenance works when your default environment supports it, not when your motivation has to fight that restriction daily. All right, so weight regain after weight loss is not a character flaw. It's not your fault. It's a problem with the structure. It's a transition failure. That primarily is what it is. So you ended the structure, your diet, too sharply. You did it too quickly, and you didn't plan for maintenance. So your biology was still adapting, but your environment, it stayed the same. And that's predictable, and it's preventable. So if you close that transition gap, you maintain all those things that you put in place, and you slowly increase and do all the things that we just talked about, that cycle will stop. So I want you to be honest with me right here. What usually drives your regain in weight after dieting? Is it A, I stopped my dietary structure too quickly? B, is it my environment pulls me back and causes me to regain that weight? Or is it C, relying on motivation instead of systems? So make sure you comment A, B, or C in the comment section, and the fix will depend on the pattern that you choose. So, and make sure to stay tuned, because in the next video, why late night eating slows fat loss, we're going to look at one habit that quietly accelerates regain. Because late night eating doesn't just change calories, it affects hunger signals, sleep quality, and next day decision patterns. And that's where drift often begins. So understand the system, then redesign it.